Hi, my name's Fred. I drink beer. Hi, and welcome back to Beers from the Basement. Today's episode I'm calling Bigfeet because I have a number of vintages of Sierra Nevada Bigfoot Barleywine Style Ale to test, to taste and enjoy. And I'm glad you're following along. So the first one I have is from, and there's nothing on the label, but you can kind of see on the cap, is from 1999. This is not the oldest I have. I still have a few 97s, but I came across the 99 first, so I thought I would go with that. And if you remember from past episodes, these are twist-off caps. So this beer is most likely going to be flat. So, dive right in. Pour is nice, it's fairly clear. Not much carbonation. Getting sherry on the nose and a little something else I can't tell. Maybe some dried fruit. I guess this is a little, I took them out of, I probably didn't even need to refrigerate it, but I just kind of, the yank in me. I tend to put beers in the fridge first, but it's been sitting out for a while. It's still very nice. I mean, for a 21-year-old beer, given they come out late in the year, 21 and a half years old, twist off cap. It would be nice if well, even with a pry off cap after 21 years, there probably wouldn't be a whole lot of carbonation. But it's I don't know how to describe it other than lovely. There's some oxidation in the sherry notes, but it's not a bad oxidation and it's not objectionable. You've lost most of the there's a little bit of bitterness in the finish, but they've sort of lost all hop character. And the bitterness you really have to kind of look for. But it would be, without it, the beer would be very sweet. So it's kind of like, it's there even if you have to dig it out. And getting some dried fruit, dried dark fruits like prune and dried berries. Not maybe more prune than berries. Now, so 9.6% alcohol by volume, brewed and bottled by Sierra Nevada Brewing Company, Chico, California. Bigfoot Barleywine Style Ale. Now, and I think I've explained before, that the barley wine style, they call it a barley wine. They get in trouble with the federal alcohol people because it's not a wine. It doesn't meet the definition of a wine. They don't understand barley wine. So now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to move right along to have something to compare to. And I have next up, I have a 2003. So that's 4 years different, also with a twist off cap. That one had a little bit more of a pop, but that's probably just my opening technique. So looks pretty much the same as the 2009. Again, not really any carbonation. I'll just hold them up. 2009, 1999, so 4 years difference. To me, they look pretty much the same. Aroma, again, pretty much the same. This one's maybe a tad bit sweeter. Not cloyingly sweet, but a little more sweetness. It's not a malty sweetness. Well, I mean it comes from malt, obviously, but it doesn't taste like you're, you know, drinking, mashed in. If you've ever brewed or home brewed, the wort before you add the hops is very sweet. In fact, in Germany a lot, they will pasteurize that, carbonate it, and sell it as a soft drink. And I believe Latin America too, they do that. It's sort of a malt-based soft drink. And supposedly the malt sugars are better for you than high fructose corn syrup. So that's a good thing. And I guess it gets you used to that beer flavor. Some of them are actually even hopped, but they're just not fermented. So I'm gonna take a pause here, get some pictures of this. So anyway, we'll be back in a minute, and I say I've got 5 vintages total to taste, so it's going to be a sloppy day by the end. So we'll see you in a minute. Okay, I'm back with my 1999 Sierra Nevada Bigfoot and my 2003 Sierra Nevada Bigfoot. Already I'm starting to slur my words. To me, they look identical. I mean, I can't tell them apart. Luckily, I had the foresight to label the glass. I don't know if you can see that. 2003 and 99. They're very, very similar as would be expected. As far as I know, they don't change the recipe that often. It's not changed every year. I'm over well, they've been brewing it since '83, so that's what 37 years. I'm sure they've modified the recipe then, but between a 21-year-old and a 19-year-old, I guess an 18-year-old, I wouldn't expect a lot of difference. The 2003 seems to be a little bit less oxidized and a little more sweet, but it's not too sweet. I say they're very, very good beers, and they're going down very well. I need to save a little for the end when I have them all ready. Anyway, enough talking. It's time for another beer, and you'll never guess what the next beer is. It's a Sierra Nevada Bigfoot. 25th expedition, meaning 25th anniversary. This is from 2008, and one of the things that's very happy to see, and I don't know if you can read that, it says use bottle opener. It's like finally. You know, one of the things, if I had a time machine, there are things you would go back in time and do, like Mr. Lincoln, the play's not very good. You might as well skip it. And I tell Sierra Nevada, don't use the goddamn twist-offs. Your beers won't last as long. And enough people complained that they finally went to pry-offs. So this is 2008, so this is 5 years newer than the second one and 9 years than the original. And it is carbonated. It is nicely carbonated. poured it too rough because I'm used to pouring flat beers. So the color as it came out of the bottle looked a little bit lighter, and that could be from the carbonation, because if you notice that the head is lighter, so the bubbles in there might, if there were bubbles in it, that can make it appear to be a little lighter. So I hold up the 2003. I guess on the monitor, I have a monitor hooked up. Well, if I hold it up to my light, the 2003 is definitely brown, and the 2008 looks a little reddish. So, oh, and there still are hops left in the. Still get some nice hops in the aroma. And I like, when I'm drinking beer, I sort of expect some carbonation, a little bit of prickliness on your tongue. It tells you, yeah, I'm drinking a beer, not something else. This is it's also very nice. It's not as oxidized at all. I mean, it's very little oxidation. It's not as big in the nose as I expect a fresh one would be. And surprisingly, it seems a bit sweeter. Yeah, they're definitely all related. Boy, this is a tough one. The 99 and the 2000 have the nice sherry notes from an aged beer. As I've said before, it takes me back to the enjoyable sessions at the Culminator with 20, 25-year-old Chimay or Stillenacht or some of those fine Belgian beers that are good for aging. Whereas the 2020 really, I'm not sure I could identify the 99 or a 2003 as a Bigfoot if you just gave it to me blind and said, here's a beer. I might guess it, but it's, to me, it doesn't jump out as Bigfoot, whereas the 2008 just reminds me of Bigfoot, which it is. Now you can see the label is changed as well. I guess I don't have the other label right to hand. It's out of reach. I would ask my production assistant to grab it, but I don't have one. Say they started brewing it in 83, so 2008 was their 25th anniversary. Just the notes on there says, this year marks the 25th release of Bigfoot. Our award-winning barley wine boasts a dense, fruity bouquet, an intense flavor palette, and a deep reddish brown color. And I do see the reddish brown. Its big maltiness is superbly balanced by a wonderful bittersweet hoppiness. And again, the same as before, brewed and bottled by Sierra Nevada Brewing, Chico, California. And still 9.6% alcohol by volume. And nothing else of interest on the label. I can read you the government warning, but so I am going to pause a moment here and get a picture of that before the head totally goes away, and I'll be back. And this is going along too well. When I said that before, I ended up having to. You guys don't realize that when I tag all these videos together before I edit them, sometimes it's an hour long and they're not that interesting. So it's like going through and cutting out, well, that's boring. Oh, I've said that twice before. So every time I say it's going along quickly, something bad happens. So we'll hang on. We'll be back in a minute with some more thoughts on this and some more beers. See you soon. Okay, I'm back with my 2008 Sierra Nevada Bigfoot, aka Barleywine Style Ale, 25th expedition. And the expedition is, I guess I have to find an old cap. On the old caps, they would have the year and it would say Bigfoot Expedition. The newer ones, at least up until the 8, the 10, and the 13 that I have, when they went to non-twist off, they say use a bottle opener. So anyway, 2008, and I mentioned I would show you the older bottle somewhere in there, and I could look up exactly. They changed the labels slightly. Well, I mean, quite a bit, to a more sort of modern approach. They probably, some marketing person said. I mean, they're nice labels. Don't get me wrong. But they also added a neck label that has the year. The old bottle did not have the year anywhere on it. The year was only on the cap. Which is, if you look on eBay for collectors, the old bottles don't generate much money, but some of the old caps do. In fact, I was looking. I don't have a Bigfoot glass. I'm using a generic Teku. Though this is Teku 3.0, so it must be good. Official Rastal version. But anyway, I was looking for a Bigfoot glass on eBay, and there were people who were trying to sell like Bigfoot caps from vintages that I have for $10 each, just the cap, not the bottle. It makes me sad to think about all the, and I don't believe they're getting $10 a cap, but who knows? But it makes me sad to think about all the caps, all the money I threw away. And then I start thinking about all the comic books I had as a kid that my mother made me throw away that are now worth a lot of money, except for everybody else's mother made them throw them out too, which is why they're worth a lot of money. Anyway, this is going down way too well. This is going to get sloppy. So that's the 2008, and you can tell it still has some carbonation. 2003, just hold them both up so you can see them. 2008, 2003 is 2008 is flat, and it looks a little bit darker to me. And when things oxidize, they get darker. I mean, there's a browning reaction. The same way you slice an apple. I mean, it's a different reaction, but you slice an apple, it turns brown. You let it sit out, it turns brown as it gets exposed to oxygen. And then here's the 99 compared to the 2008. And again, also pretty flat, though it looks like I've got a few hair bubbles on the 99 and not on the 2003, but that just may have been the way I poured it. Now the 99 and the 2003 are, you have to sort of shift gears. They're not really comparable. You have to enjoy these as aged beers, as vintage beers, which they are, and they're enjoyable, and I very much enjoy beers that have preserved well. And have been cared for at least somewhat well. The 99 and the 2003 are very much vintage beers. They're they remind me of things I would drink at the Culminator in Antwerp and other places in Belgium that have cellared beers. It's got sort of a totally different flavor profile and expectations. And I enjoy them very much, and I will enjoy drinking the rest of them. The 2008 is still, it's 12 years old, so it's, it's aged, but I'm not sure I'd call it vintage yet, and I'm mincing words here, but it's still very much a Bigfoot, um, and so it's kind of in a different category. But I'm enjoying them all. As you can tell, I've gotten to the rambling stage much earlier than normal. In fact, I'm running out of room on my little table here. So next, I'm going to go for the 2010. The label is not the same. With the 2008 was an anniversary, so it's got a little bit of different label. See what the next one. This one kind of looks like in fact, the center part of it is the same picture of what I assume is someone mining for gold in the Sierras, and a Bigfoot hiding in the woods. And they have that picture, it's just surrounded by kind of a more modern style. And in the corner it says purest ingredients, finest quality. I expect no less from Sierra Nevada. And 2010 on the cap, fresh seal cap, please use opener, which I will do. And a very definite hiss there, so I expect this will be nicely carbonated as well. Again, Sierra Nevada Bigfoot 2010, and I'm not going to make the same mistake I made before. Pour it a little bit to see the color. It definitely looks lighter than the old ones, the 2003 and 1999. There's the 2000. Turn the label around if you can see it. 2008, 2010, and to me, it's definitely got a lighter. It's more reddish. It's got hops. It's still got hops left after 10 years. Nice nice aroma. I mean, not the in your face the way a fresh one is, but and it tastes pretty much like the 2008. I mean, there's only 2 years difference, so I wouldn't expect much. There's a little more. There's a little bit more, getting a little tiny bit of hop flavor, and the bitterness is a little more pronounced, and it's not quite as sweet. But it's nice. If I do this again, I have a 7-year gap between the 2000. No, I have a 5-year gap. I'm looking at I've got them in the wrong order here in front of me. I do have some ones in the middle, so it would be interesting. Well, I'm sure you can. The 2003 to 2008 is when they switched to the pry-off cap, which I believe was 2006 or 7. I don't honestly remember. But if you watch one of the previous videos, I had some Sierra Nevada Celebration that also went from twist off to pry off. So, boy, this would be a tough one to decide which I like. The sort of in two categories, and the ones with carbonation, I actually like the 2010, I think, a little bit better. It's a little more lively, a little bit more tingly on the tongue, a little bit more carbonation, and there's more hops to it. The 2008 is on that slide to, on the road to hopefully having some nice sherry notes, but you lose some of the hoppiness, at least the hop flavor. So I'm going to take a pause here and get a picture of this while I still got a nice head on it, and I'll be back with the last one and some further thoughts. So we'll see you in a minute. Okay, I'm back with my 2010 Bigfoot Barleywine Style Ale. And the 2010 is still got it's got a little bit of hops in the nose, not much. Lots of malty sweetness and pronounced hop bitterness. The 2008, obviously I'm liking this one, is very much like the 2010, just a little more subdued. It's not got any real, maybe a little bit of hops in the nose, but I may be just trying to convince myself it's there. The 2003, which was in the twist-off cap era, is very much a different beer. It's very enjoyable. It's lots of sherry notes and sort of dark dried fruit, dried blackberries and plums, prunes. I mean, when I say the beer tastes like prunes, that sounds bad, and that's actually a compliment. And then the 1999, and a party like it's 1999. And that one's very much like the 2003. It's a little less sweet and a little more sherry, but they're very similar. I mean, you can tell them apart, but it's hard to judge whether you'd say one is better than the other. They're both very enjoyable. And so now I'm ready for my last one, which is 2013. And this, it turns out I have a whole case. This is the first bottle from the case I had. I remember vaguely buying the case, and it got stored kind of in a different place, and then I got some other stuff piled on top of it. So it's, I say this is, so I hope this is really good, because I have 23 more bottles after this one. Let me go ahead and open it first, and then I have some comments to make. Again, lots of nice hiss when I open it. And we'll see how it looks. I pour it a little bit. It's rough. I like to see that you can see the color. I have a light on my camera, and you can see it's not nearly as dark as some of the other ones, as the older ones. And that's not a good pour, but. And oh, joys of live recording. It smells much like the 2010. It's only 3 years difference. There are hops in the nose, but the little more hop flavor on your tongue and when you drink it. That's still very nice. I'm glad I have 23 bottles left of that, so that should last me a while. Now I was going to show you the label. There's the 2013 and the 2010. They're pretty much identical except for the neck label. The one thing is on the 2013 they went to a back label. It's hard to tell. The front of the 2010, on the side they have the government warning and the barcode, and on the 2013 you can see it's a shorter label on the front. They put that all on the back, and the 2010 and earlier don't have any back label. So the back label has given them some more room. They have their website, their URL, www.sierranevada.com. So welcome to the internet age. And they have a blurb. Bigfoot is a beast of a beer. No argument there. brimming with flavor from massive amounts of roasted malt and spicy hops. Brewed in the barleywine style with a rich, bittersweet body and whole cone Pacific Northwest hops. And it's hard. Basically, boil that down into what I told you before, more. Whatever there is, it's got more. The 2013, and I'm not sure if you can see the color, if it's tilted sometimes. To me, it's definitely reddish compared. Yeah, see now I'm looking, I have a monitor hooked up here, and on the monitor they look the same, but when I hold them up to the light, the older ones are definitely brown and not really transparent. The newer ones, the 20, really the non-twist off, the 08, 10, and 13 are, when I hold them up to the light, you can see they're reddish brown, and I could see that as I was pouring them as well. So, but I am very much liking the 2013. Makes me want to rush out and buy some, though I'm not sure if it's in stock this time of year, but I will definitely look for it next time. So I'm going to pause and get a picture of this one and get a picture of the bunch, and I'll be back with some final closing thoughts. So I hope you enjoyed this. I'm enjoying it. I have a lot of homework left to do. I got to finish all these beers. There was some Twitter comments or Facebook comments like, yeah, right, you think he can really finish them. So I view that as a challenge. So dinner might be ordered in tonight, but it would be a price worth paying. So we'll see you in a minute. Okay, I'm back with my 2013 Sierra Nevada Bigfoot, which is the freshest I have. It's the freshest I have, most recent I have in my cellar. I haven't bought any since, which is a mistake on my part. But it goes nicely with the 2010, very similar. 2013 maybe has a little bit more hop flavor. And then the 2008, which is the oldest I have with a pry-off cap. And it still, has carbonation. I'm not sure how long I've been since I poured it, but it's still got carbonation and nice lace. And then we're into the 2003, which was of today's beers, was the one of the two with the twist-off cap, and it has no carbonation and is oxidized, but in a sherry way. Oxidation can go two ways. Oxidation in a beer. The good way is you get sherry notes, which sherry is wine that's purposely oxidized. Or you can get stuff that tastes more like wet cardboard, and you tend to get the stronger beers tend to get the sherry. The lower alcohol beers tend to get the wet cardboard, and the wet cardboard is not nice. That's unless you like chewing on wet cardboard. And in which case you do, I have lots of beers for you. But the sherry notes are nice if you appreciate that. If you don't like sherry, I'm not a sherry drinker. I do drink some port from now and then. But I understand the flavor. I'm not much of a wine drinker either. But the sherry notes in the beer are enjoyable. So, and then there's the 1999, which is the oldest I had today. It's not the oldest in my cellar. I still have some 97s, and I've said this over and over. I thought I had some 95s, but I haven't. That may have been a dream. I haven't come across any. It's still very enjoyable if you have the mindset of a vintage beer. Um, it doesn't have any hop flavor. It's got no hop aroma. The aroma is sherry and malt. And so I enjoy the vintage beers. Just asked Derek at the Culminator, where I've spent thousands of dollars over the last 25 years. But his prices are actually fairly reasonable for these old beers. If those of us who go there are always thankful that he's not that internet savvy, because he could sell these beers on the internet for way more than he sells them to us when we go visit. So, in a sense, I'm thankful. And well, I'm running out of things to say. At least things that anyone would be interested in hearing. So, as always, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'm back up to 30 subscribers, which is my life's goal. So, if this is the last video, then I would die a happy man. But now I want to shoot for 35. So tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your enemies, stop random people on the street and say, hey, you must watch this video. Anyway, take care. Good beers. Stay well, stay healthy. Get your vaccination if you can, and good beers to you.